Most of you who play Cyberpunk 2077 won't be surprised to hear that there's a bunch of cut content and features that never made it into the game. In fact, if you've been watching my channel for long, you'll know that I've covered a bunch of it. Today I want to talk about something that wasn't fully cut from the game, but wasn't fully implemented because it wasn't ready yet. That of course is the vehicle chase system, which could be utilised by police officers and gang members on ambushes, and how that missing feature affects the car combat system we see remnants of today. My name's Mike, you're watching Deconstructing the Game. Let's get to it. So within Cyberpunk 2077 there's a mission called Rebel Rebel. This mission involves you helping Kara Eurodyne stop a van full of musical equipment for the Uzcracks. Towards the end of the mission you'll be chased by two police vehicles that aren't overly hard to shake off. But if you allow them to chase you, you'll see how the vehicle chase system actually works and what the state of the system is right now in the default version of the game if you're not using mods. Most of the time any car combat that happens or any chase sequence that happens is an on-rails experience where you're being driven around and then you're the one shooting at the window to shake off the assailants. This is somewhat true in the Beast and Me missions as well when you're doing the races. The only difference is you're the driver and Claire is the one shooting at the window. But for the AI vehicles, they're still on a track and it's an on-rails experience. The problem with the police system or the vehicle chase system is that you as a player character in the free roam of the game can go anywhere you want, and that system has to actively seek you out and try and stop you. There's two objectives to the AI here which are obvious. One is to seek out the player character, and number two is when they get to a certain distance away from the player character, stick to them like glue and mimic every movement. The police vehicle does have some form of AI where it will try and get around obstacles that it crashes, and then it will revert back to trying to seek you out and then chase you again. But in truth, the vehicle never really tries to stop you. It doesn't try and ram you off the road, and it doesn't try and pass you. The police vehicle mimics your every movement so much that if you hit the brakes, they will also hit the brakes, preventing a collision. It's kind of funny because if I swerve left and right, the police vehicle will also swerve left and right to the point where it looks like I'm towing a trailer. Now I'm sorry to say this, but it's obvious to me that Cyberpunk 2077 has been dumbed down by CD Projekt Red to accommodate the older generation consoles because of the processing issues. In fact, you can see this in Rebel Rebel where there isn't a single vehicle on the road apart from you and the two police vehicles. And the police vehicles soon become one because the AI isn't strong enough to make both police vehicles work at the same time as a team. They crash into each other constantly, one is always ramming the other one off the road, they're trying to squeeze into that spot right behind your vehicle to be able to follow you and mimic your every move. And if you get to a certain distance away from the police vehicle, it will stop and it will refuse to chase you even if you drive past it in the opposite direction. The police officers will just continue to shoot at you until you drive away. The police officers will get out the vehicle if you exit your vehicle in the mission, but they won't return to the vehicle and chase you down, and this is the same for other police officers in the street. They'll just run after you and they won't jump in the vehicle they're beside. So how do the police actually intend to stop you? Well, in short, they just shoot at you from the windows, just like Claire does in the Beast and Me missions. But what surprised me the most was that the driving police officer also shoots at the window at you. This is a mechanic I've never actually seen implemented in Cyberpunk before, and the only time I've seen a glimpse of it was when I accidentally glitched a weapon into my hand while driving a truck during my initial glitch video. We can see that the passenger combat system is pretty solid. The NPC characters will actively shoot at enemies, and they're usually pretty good. I've actually showcased this in a video I did previously about the Johnny Silverhand exploit and the vehicle combat system, which allows you to get some pretty unique character pictures using Rogue and the Nomad. But it highlights that the car combat system was actually pretty close to being finished. In this instance, the police officers also shoot at you, they chase you, and the driving police officer also shoots at you as well. So why was this system never implemented, and why was a car combat system never a bigger thing? Well, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion because I have no experience in programming whatsoever, I just play the games, but in my opinion it's because the system wasn't fully fleshed out and they couldn't get the AI good enough to actively seek out the player in free roam and try and stop them. So in short, this is a system that could have been used for police officers and gang ambushes, but wasn't fully fleshed out because the system was still on rails and the AI wasn't good enough to seek out the player and try and stop them. In relation to traffic as a whole in Night City, I think CD Projekt Red implemented a program they had for The Witcher 3. Because in The Witcher 3, all you have to do is tell your horse to move forward and they'll follow the path of the road without you having to input any directions whatsoever. I think this is true for the traffic in general in Night City, and they follow their own predetermined paths, and that's why you saw some vehicles crashing into buildings and going through barriers that they weren't actually meant to be going through. The vehicles are on rails and they have no artificial intelligence to tell them to go round or actively avoid obstacles. And it's certainly not good enough to follow the player and actively try and stop them, and it's only good enough to follow them and mimic their every movement. Horseback pursuits are very similar in the fact that the enemies will chase you to a certain point and then completely ignore you. They won't even try and block you in or attack you as you're running away from them, and this is very similar to Cyberpunk 2077's police system, so maybe this is just a copied program they had for Red Engine 3.5 and they copied it across to Red Engine 4. Now, I know every single person watching this is going to be screaming at me saying that Grand Theft Auto 3 perfected this way back when, but unfortunately I can't speak for the development of Cyberpunk 2077, and I just play the game and report in layman terms what I find. I'm certainly not going to make any excuses for CD Projekt Red, but I just like to play the game and report in my own way of how I feel about things and how I find them. Don't get me wrong, the police chase system or the vehicle chase system as a whole is almost there, it's just not fully fleshed out yet, and they haven't nailed the AI to be able to make decisions based on where the character is going or what they have to do to stop you. So if they were to nail the AI for this police chase system, I'd like some expansion on what our consequences are for a higher star level. Maybe AVs chasing us, maybe roadblocks with stingers. We do see a stinger in the mission Rebel, but after it's single use, we drive over it and we don't see any consequences to our vehicle, because of course we all know the tires in Cyberpunk 2077 are like lead and they never burst. CD Projekt Red might also implement a gang warfare system, or just rival gangs in general try and chase you down because of something you did in that area in relation to a gig or side mission. And if they do this, it'll be nice to implement the vehicle combat system for you as the driver to be able to shoot at the window, just like we saw in some of the trailers. But don't get me started on the trailers because that's a totally different topic. There's also a lot more improvements and tweaking to be done with police officers on foot, but for today I just want to talk about the car chase system and how that kind of ties in with the vehicle combat system as well, and why we may not have seen those things implemented in the game so far. Now, I fully expect this feature to be implemented within the Cyberpunk multiplayer if CD Projekt Red are to be believed, but until that point comes, we'll just have to wait and see if this actually makes an appearance in the single player game or was reserved as a test bed for the multiplayer to come. Unfortunately, if you're on a console, you'll have to wait for a patch or an update for this to work properly, but if you're on PC, you can always go to Nexus Mods and download the Police Improved AI, which I'll link in the description below. It's worth noting at this point that on PC, I've never seen a police vehicle on patrol, and I've only ever seen one police vehicle on patrol, and that was in the beta version for Xbox One X. I have yet to see a police vehicle on patrol anywhere in the game so far that reacts accordingly. Fortunately, I don't have any footage of this because it was during a live stream I did with Ryan, and that footage is now deleted. I appreciate this information might be a bit late for some people and it's been discussed already, but it was something I wanted to dig into for myself to see just exactly what's going on. If you liked the video you've seen today, you can check out more on YouTube, and you can also get involved in the discussion on Discord as well, or you can check out the new Patreon page for tiers to get these videos a day early. My name's Mike, you've been watching Deconstructing the Game, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.